There. My name is Antonia. I'm an intake legal advocate with Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service. Today I'm going to be speaking with you about what are some of the most common questions we get during our intake process. Our intake line is oftentimes a client's first step in receiving services from MVLS. We get many calls throughout the week on our intake line, and we've narrowed down some of the most common questions that we receive during this time. So first, how can you help me, or what does MVLS do? In short, MVLS is a nonprofit organization that works to pair clients with pro bono or free attorneys for different civil legal issues. We don't assist with all legal issues, but our intake line is where we screen for eligibility, see if your case fits, and that's like the first step to receiving services through us. Second question, can you give legal advice? On the intake line, our intake legal advocates are paralegals, they're not attorneys, so we cannot offer legal advice over the phone. We do have a few resources that we often give our callers if they are looking for legal advice. Third, where do I start? What do I tell you? People usually, when they call, they're like, I don't know where to start. Do I just start from the beginning? Do I tell you the full story? We respond to this by saying, kind of just give me a brief rundown of what your situation is, what you're looking to get help with. Even if you don't know the exact terminology of what your legal issue is, just by kind of explaining your story, we'll be able to piece together what it is that you're looking for. Fourth question, why do you need my income information? During the intake process, we'll ask you a series of questions, again, to kind of gauge what legal issue you need help with. Once we determine that your legal issue is something that we can assist, we'll then continue with asking you a series of questions regarding your household and your income. This is important because we do have a set of income and asset guidelines that our clients have to be within. So these questions are to just make sure that you would fit within those guidelines before we send out a formal application packet. Next question is, what's next? So at the end of our intake phone call, we'll kind of give you a rundown of what to expect next. We'll send you an application by mail just to kind of get all of the formalities out of the way, get even more details about your case. We'll often request court documents or additional supporting documents. And then we'll go through, we'll receive that back from you, and then we can continue with our process. But at the end of our intake phone call, the intake advocate will kind of go through what you can expect after this point. Next question is, when can I speak with an attorney? So we don't, like I said before, we don't have attorneys on our intake line to talk. Typically, from the very beginning of the intake process until a client is placed with an attorney, it can take about 1 to 2 months for placement. This is another thing that we do explain at the end of our intake phone call, kind of the timeline and what to expect. But after we receive your application back and we can accept your case, then we start looking for an attorney for you. Once your case is placed with a volunteer attorney, that's when you can speak with them. Last question, what do I do if you guys can't help? So if your legal issue is outside of the realm of what MVLS can do, luckily we do have a long list of additional partners and referrals that we can give you. We'll best match what your legal issue is, and we'll give you some resources of other places that you can call for help. I like to say, even if we can assist you, we're not saying that you can't get help. There are definitely other organizations out there that can provide some assistance and guidance. If you do have a question about your legal issue or if MVLS can help, definitely give our intake line a call. Our intake line is open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12, and you can find more information on our website at mvlslaw.org. Thank you.